She will not see the sun. The words passed from mouth to mouth in Okoro village like a disease. It was 2 a.m., and the entire village was awake. Not from celebration, from fear. Outside the ancient shrine at the edge of the forest, 7 elders stood in a half-circle, their lanterns shaking in their hands. They spoke in whispers, but their voices carried across the silence. "No one survives the shrine," old Mama Kemi said, clutching her wrapper tight around her chest. "Not in 20 years. Not since the last sacrifice. The gods are angry," another elder added. "They will take her before dawn." Inside the shrine, through the cracked stone doors that had stood for generations, there was only darkness. The kind of darkness that feels alive, the kind that breathes. The smell came first, iron and rot, like something had died and been left to decay in the heat. Then the sound. Chains. Heavy, ancient chains that seemed to move on their own, scraping against stone, pulling at something the elders could not see.
What if she screams?
No one dared go closer. What if she screams? Someone whispered, "She will not scream." The chief said coldly, standing apart from the others, "She knows what happens to those who scream." The villagers exchanged glances but said nothing. They had learned long ago that silence was survival. Inside the shrine, the girl they had thrown in just 2 hours earlier lay still on the cold stone floor. Her name was Adanna. She was 12 years old. An orphan. And tonight, the village had decided she would pay for a crime she did not commit. Her hands were tied. Her feet were bound. Blood dried on her lip where the chief had struck her. But her eyes were open. And they were not afraid. The elders shifted nervously outside. "How long do we wait?" One of them asked. "Until morning," the chief replied. "By then, the gods will have taken her, and the village will be cleansed." He turned to walk away, confident, unmoved. But what the village did not know, what the chief, in all his cruelty, could never have imagined, was that the shrine had not been empty all these years. It had been waiting for someone brave enough, someone pure enough, someone like her. And by morning, nothing in Okoro village would ever be the same again. Chief Okonkwo ruled Okoro village the way a lion rules the jungle, with fear, with teeth, with blood. He was a tall man, wide across the shoulders, with a scar that ran from his left eye down to his jaw. Some said he got it in a fight. Others said he gave it to himself to look more dangerous. It worked. For 15 years, he had been chief. For 15 years, no one dared question him. Not the men, not the women, not even the elders who were supposed to guide him. "I am the law," he would say, standing in the middle of the village square, his voice booming like thunder. "What I say is final. What I command is done. Anyone who challenges me will learn what happens to rebels." And he meant it. Every morning at 6 a.m., the orphans of the village would gather near his compound, their thin bodies wrapped in rags, their eyes hollow from hunger. They came to beg, not because they wanted to, because they had no choice. Chief Okonkwo would come out, eat his breakfast in front of them, and laugh. "You think I owe you food?" He would shout, throwing scraps on the ground like they were dogs. "You think because your parents died, the world must pity you?" If any child dared to cry, he would beat them. 3 months ago, it was Chidi, a boy of 9. He reached for a piece of yam that had fallen near the chief's feet. Chief Okonkwo grabbed his hand and twisted it until something cracked. Chidi screamed. The chief smiled. "Let this be a lesson," he said to the other children watching in horror. "Respect is not asked for. It is beaten into you." Chidi's hand never healed properly. Now it hung limp at his side, useless. And still, he had to beg. 2 months ago, it was Ngozi, a girl of 11. She dared to look the chief in the eye when he insulted her dead mother. Just looked. Didn't speak. He chased her out of the village with a machete, screaming that she was cursed, that she carried evil spirits. She ran into the forest and was not seen for 3 days. When she finally returned, her feet were torn and bleeding, her eyes empty of hope. And the villagers, they watched. They whispered. They did nothing. "It is not our place," they said. "He is the chief. We cannot help them." Fear had made them cowards, and Chief Okonkwo knew it. He walked through the village like a king, taking what he wanted, punishing who he pleased. Protected by his title and the 4 men he paid to carry clubs and enforce his will. The orphans are a disease, he would tell anyone who listened. They bring shame to this village. They remind us of weakness. One day, I will cleanse this place of them all. The elders nodded. The villagers looked away, and the orphans learned to survive in silence. Their bodies broken, their spirits barely alive. But then one night, a child did something no orphan had ever done. She stood up. She spoke back. She looked Chief Okonkwo in the eye and said the words that would change everything. "You are not a chief. You are a coward." Her name was Adanna. And by morning, the village would learn what happens when you push the innocent too far.